You are watching DuBoisNOW. Talk about community affairs and government happenings in the city of DuBois, Pennsylvania.
DuBoisNOW is produced at the Kinetic of downtown DuBois. Get into the Kinetic and let us teach you the art of digital media production. Special educational programs are available for talented and creative young people in our area. Contact the Kinetic today.
Good afternoon, good day, wherever you may be in our global viewing audience. You are watching DuBoisNOW, community affairs and happenings within the area of DuBois, Pennsylvania. And I'm your host. My name is Sam Otero, coming to you live from the studios of the Kinetic in downtown DuBois. Today, special guest with us, Mr. M. Scott McBride, Dr. McBride, PhD. He is the new Chancellor and the Chief Academic Officer at Penn State DuBois. New to our area, new to Penn State, and very excited and have a lot of big ideas. We're very excited to have you here, sir, and we're just thrilled with the opportunity to be able to introduce our community to you. So, Scott McBride, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
You've come a long way. You've come all the way from Kentucky.
Well, from Kentucky, by way of Georgia, by way of Alabama, by way of California, and I started out in Youngstown, Ohio area.
Yeah, I heard you mention when Vinny, our production manager in the back here, was getting my program notes. I heard you mentioning your background, that you are from the Youngstown area. So
yes, I grew up there. And,
yeah, so you're familiar. You're familiar with Appalachian, the Ohio Valley, and the culture here.
I know the neighborhood. Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about your career. Now, you came here from College of Arts and Humanities, and Social Sciences, where you were the dean, and that is in Kentucky at Morehead State University.
Correct.
That was your last placement.
That's my last position. Yes.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what led you here to Penn State and to DuBois.
Well, I've had a pretty long career. I started out in my career in 1978. I was a public school music teacher in Northeast Ohio. I worked my way up through the system. I finished my last job as a high school band director, and I had a vision to go on to university teaching.
Oh, good for you.
And that vision to university teaching took me to work on my doctorate at the University of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Ran out of money after a year. Needed a job. It can happen.
You're working on that doctorate degree.
Graduate degree, and then I went on to take my first university teaching position at Fresno State in California. Mm-hmm. I was there. I led the marching band, and I was the instrumental music education specialist for the program and the music department there.
Wow!
And then after that, I had a vision. I wanted to move into a lead job as a director of bands, so I moved on to Alabama, to Jacksonville State University, where there's a very large established program there. And I had the seed planted early on about the idea of moving toward administrative work, because I always had a gift for wanting to be able to move the organization forward, to make things happen.
Sure.
And to be able to put some rational process and structure in an organization. So it's always something was part of me. So I took an opportunity that was brought to me to apply for a chair of a music department, University of West Georgia, which was just an hour down the road from where I was at Jacksonville State. Mm-hmm. So it's the same neighborhood, a lot of same friends, saw a lot of colleagues. And so I ended up winning that job. I was there for 9 years to chair that department. And then this opportunity came open at Morehead State to chair a really large established music program there. It has a long history. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed that very much. But while I was there, the opportunity came. My boss was retiring, and I was invited to apply for the dean's position, and I ended up winning that job, and I served as dean at Morehead State of the Cowell College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences for 9 years. So I was at a point in my career where the opportunity to take on a broader responsibility it was just, I was there at that place. In
Yeah,
my
I was
career.
I'm looking at your bio here, and it was great. I was very excited when Mr. Harmon sent this to me because I'm a musician myself. I teach digital media arts, so I was thrilled to see that the new head of our local university is an arts background.
Yeah.
I think that's outstanding, and that adds to a whole nother depth to a different dimension to our education. We're going to talk about some of the new programs and initiatives here in a few that integrate art and technology, and especially youth outreach programs. We're going to get into that in a few minutes into the show. But tell us a little bit about what it takes here. I see that when you were at Moorhead, you said that you led an initiative to achieve accreditation for your art and design program. Tell us a little bit about that. What's involved with getting a new program set up at a college and getting national accreditation?
Well, some of that started with the fact, I already told you there's a long history of the music program.
Oh, yeah.
And it had been accredited since, I think it was 1969. The theater program was nationally accredited. And, the art program was very, very strong. And I always wondered why it wasn't accredited. It seemed unusual to me. So when I became dean, that became one of the objectives. We need to get that program so that all of our arts programs were nationally accredited by the National Association of Schools of Music, the National Association of Schools of Art and Design, and the National Association of Schools of Theater. So, and we accomplished that. It is quite a task because there are standards in terms of facilities, standards in terms of curriculum.
Sure.
We had a really strong faculty, so most of our things we needed to work on were curricular adjustments and facility, improve our facility, the safety of the facility and the structure. But it was a great accomplishment for us because now all those programs were fully accredited, and that means people take note, and that draws students.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm sure they were sorry to see you go, but their losses are gained. So, how did you end up at DuBois Penn State?
Well, first of all, I was very interested in this kind of position where there was an association with a campus associated with a major university. Penn State situation, the way the campuses are designed, is unique in higher education.
Really?
There are other institutions in the country that have branch campuses, so to speak. Even large universities have some branch campuses.
Sure.
No one has anything like Penn State does.
Well, how is it different? What differentiates
What's
it?
particularly unique about it is Penn State approaches it as one university that's geographically dispersed. And so by thinking of it that way, a lot of people think that our individual campuses are completely individual and somehow on their own. They aren't. We're all Penn State. They're Penn State degrees. We're Penn State faculty. We're Penn State administrators. We're Penn State students. And so there's no disconnect between. It just happens to be Penn State all over the state of Pennsylvania. And so that's a little different model. There's no one else that has that kind of geographic disbursement in their state, in any state. It's a very unique arrangement.
And you guys have outreach let's talk about this a little bit. For those that are not familiar with Penn State, I mean, we drive by it on the B line, but maybe we're not familiar with the inner workings. So we've got up on the screen here, guys, you want to pull up those fast facts up here. We've got over 600 undergraduate students currently enrolled. So this is not a small, this is relatively substantial.
Yeah, it is, and we're holding our own. Keep in mind that in this region, and many regions of the country, the demographic, the number of college-going students has decreased over the past 5 years. And we this is out in the press quite a lot. They're understanding what's happening to enrollment within higher education institutions.
Well, let's touch on that before we get into Penn State a little bit more here. I love this concept of being able to talk about some national trends too, and what's happening. I mean, big changes going on in our country right now. What's the analysis here? Why have we seen this decline in numbers over the past 5 years for higher education?
Well, there are just fewer college-going age students. It's birth rate. It's
so that's what it comes down to. It's
we had a huge boom, didn't we? Not during the baby boom generation, right? There was lots of people coming into higher ed.
Absolutely.
But we are at a place where, if you look at the population demographics, The number of students, well, we can look in the local paper. We've talked about some of the elementary schools are shutting down.
Yeah, they're
right?
just doing
well, they're doing
consolidation
that
here,
because there's not as many coming up.
Yeah.
So that kind of trend in different parts of the country hits differently, right? Some parts of the country are still growing, and there's population moving into those areas. We just happen to be a place that's going through this trend. The way I understand it, the demographics sort of bottomed out, and maybe we're going to start picking up a little bit here in the future. But because of that, you're going to see the effect of that on enrollments in colleges and universities as well.
Now, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but Penn State attracts not only students that are looking to get their four-year degree, traditional career pathway, but you attract a lot of adults here. I see here in our statistics that over a third of your students are adults, 24 or older.
Yeah, a whole third of them. I think that's an impressive
substantial,
number.
Absolutely.
It's an impressive number, and that includes adults from a variety of different situations. You have veterans that are returning, that have the opportunity to be able to advance their education, and they take advantage of the GI Bill. You've got some adults maybe that have started a family and now have the opportunity after the kids are in school to be able to come back and pursue what they really wanted to do some time ago, but life kind of happened.
Oh, sure.
Okay, we've got a lot of that kind of situation. You have some people that maybe initially weren't sure they were ready to go to school and then come back. But the beautiful part of it is I just had a conversation the other night on our honors convocation with one of our adult students that received an award. And the passion and the commitment and the sacrifice that the adult students are making to come back, but they know how important it is. They know their life is going to be different because they have this opportunity to earn that four-year degree, and they have a different kind of standard of living and a different kind of future ahead of them because they have that.
You know, you said a very important word, and it's interesting that you bring this up. I've been pounding this right now because my students and I at Jeff Tech have been doing career research. Every fourth quarter we do a comprehensive career research unit, and we just spent a full day talking about the importance of passion. The importance of passion in one's life, and that passion for life, and especially in terms of picking a career pathway and bringing your passion with you. It's not always the best idea to follow your passion, but bring it with you in what you're doing and light yourself up and engage yourself and be excited about life. I found it interesting that you say that the adults that you're running into there bring that passion for education.
It's true for them. It's true for all students. If they're going to be successful, there's you have to be motivated.
You got to be passionate.
And what is
about
it that motivates you?
Stoke those coals, right?
You have to have a vision about what you want to accomplish. And I think once you grab onto that vision and that passion, then through the ups and downs and the challenges that are always going to be there.
Sure.
Because that's just the kind of experience it is. You're challenged constantly. You're going to have ups and downs. That's what carries you through.
Now, let's talk about workforce development. Penn State's very big, very involved in this, not just adult education programs, but outreach as well. And we use this word a lot, those of us that are in education, workforce development. Explain to the viewing audience, what exactly does that mean? How is Penn State involved in workforce development?
Well, really, a couple of different ways. From our degree programs, our associate degrees and our bachelor's degrees, we're focused on programs that are going to lead to careers that serve our region. So we, for instance, have our wildlife technology program.
Well, I find this interesting because I teach at the Career and Technical School here, and from our county school, that's our model. We're serving the local community, and all of our programs are based upon the needs of the local community. I didn't realize that the college took that approach as well.
Sure. I think higher ed in general has begun to make moves in that direction. We have not abandoned the humanities and our liberal arts program, those are still the foundational core of what we do. But in terms of being able to help students and guide them toward career paths, we try to focus on programs that can be helpful.
That's interesting.
We got a new program, our Administration of Justice program.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a partnership program. The Administration Justice program is a Penn State program on our campus, so we hadn't had it for a very long period of time. It's relatively new. We partner with Greater Allegheny, Penn State Greater Allegheny on the program. And we've started some students through the first couple of years. Now we're adding another faculty member to move students on into the next 2 years of the program, bringing another crop of new students in. And this is a program that's designed, most programs are either called a criminology program or a criminal justice program.
Right.
This administration of justice sort of pulls those two together. One that focuses more on the theories of crime and what causes crime, where criminal justice focuses on what do we do with dealing with crime.
Right.
Okay, you put those two together, that's more like what our administration of justice program. So people can work. They work in the FBI. They can work in state police, local police. They can work in the court system. They can work in corrections. A whole range of aspects of the criminal justice system that the students come out of this program where they can engage in that work. And of course, we know there's a lot of employment opportunities there.
And in my field as well, IT, you guys, technology, engineering. Tell us a little bit. I've been seeing a lot of news in the local papers recently over the past 6 months to a year.
Well, we have
really beefing that up.
Several aspects of engineering, but of course, we have a big focus on the powder metal industry.
You know what? I didn't know that. I was not aware of that. I was talking with somebody at Jeff Tech about this the other day, and they made mention of it. I said, Penn State's getting involved with powdered metals.
Well, for a long time.
I wasn't even aware of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Major amount of research going on by our faculty in that area. Some large grants that they run on there. I just took a tour, since I'm new, of all those facilities, and we've got all the equipment there where our students are training and getting in there and get gobbled up right away into the powder metal industry here locally.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a terrific program. Now, we have other areas of engineering, but that's sort of a major unique focus because, well, that's what we do here in this region. The other thing, of course, you talked about in the IT side, our information technology people have a networking track that they've been working on, and students are going into that, and there are a variety of things we do in the information technology area. And there's of course lots of jobs in those fields.
And of course, booming healthcare as well. I know we have a robust
wide range of healthcare, anything with occupational therapy, health and family services kinds of programming. So there are, and of course, with the whole healthcare industry, there's no shortage of jobs in those fields.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate what you folks are doing here. Let's talk a little bit about some of the outreach opportunities that are coming up. What's new at Penn State, and how are you folks engaging your community to make DuBois and our region a wonderful place to live? Well,
there's two parts that I'd like to mention. Our outreach unit on campus is focused again on working with businesses in industry, trying to provide training that they need for their program. There was just recently a $110,000 grant that was obtained by that unit in order to help educate people on die setting, and they're putting videos together through this grant to be able to help through the powder metal industry and all the die setting role that's involved there. I think it's safe to say that we have to cultivate our own in some of these trades, that we're losing talent through retirements and so on, and we need to bring other young people up to train them in some of these areas. So that's an example. There's also some health care oriented kind of training that we have that's going to be offered in June. I can't remember the dates right now, but we're focused on those things. The other thing that I'm really interested in advancing the conversation, and my predecessor worked on this, Melanie Hatch, this idea of capitalizing on this Invent Penn State initiative. Invent Penn State is focused around trying to create startups and entrepreneurial centers within communities where we partner the university and the community and pull people together to come up and develop ideas and innovate and incubate ideas.
Well, we've been talking about this with the workforce development people for decades, the brain drain problem. I was one of them. Grew up in Clearfield, 17 years old. I'm sitting here going, I wanted to get into arts and media. There was nothing here for me at the time for what I wanted to do. So, like many kids, up and left, took my talent elsewhere. 20 years later, came back home, worked out all right. But a lot of kids do that. They look around, they're limited in or they think that they're limited in their opportunities here, so they hoof it on out of here and they don't look back. We want to keep the best and the brightest here. And one way to do it is to get them to invest in their community by starting businesses. And I think it's vital that we see higher education and even what we're doing in high school, encouraging that entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, that's what built America.
Sure. Small business of all types. There's all kinds of innovative ways where people are creating their own businesses and moving forward. And one of the things I like about the idea is to bring young people, school-age young people, college-age young people, adults, people that are maybe looking for a second career, bringing all these people generationally together and exchanging ideas, because it's amazing to me sometimes young people are not inhibited by the way that you might think once you kind of have things ingrained when you get older. So they help break down barriers, I think, and help develop ideas with some of the older folks that might get together, and there's a great dynamic it can develop.
Well, do we have any events that are happening over the summertime that you would like to plug and let people know about?
Well, we do have our program that we have in the summer for gifted and talented students that come on our campus in the summer. And, of course, we've got our summer program with our new students that come in.
This is gifted kids that are currently Penn State students?
No, for school age.
High school students?
Yeah, I think it's grades middle school and high school.
Oh, okay. So these are local youth programs that anybody can engage in.
They can come in. Great. And there's other programs we have during the year that we bring students onto campus. We just recently had our the business the career days event that we had on campus, where all kinds of local businesses and industries came in and represented, and our students then got a chance to come and visit and get to know what the opportunities are, be able to introduce themselves, and be able to find pathways into their careers. So, we're all constantly working and trying to make this connection between working to learn the skills and the knowledge and the dispositions that are involved with the degree program, but then how do we connect that with the workplace?
Oh, yeah. Well, one way that we do it at high school level is cooperative education.
Sure.
We place 7 kids through my digital media program, and I have 2 kids working as digital marketing assistants at DuBois Toyota. Right. We've got kids that are working for major companies, Barber Trucking. They're doing the digital marketing. We're running their Facebook campaigns. Right. They're being paid to be in school.
Right.
It's
we call
really
them co-ops in some cases.
Yeah.
We call them internships, and we got internships everywhere for students are engaged in those. And I've always believed it's really important to connect the theory with practice. You got to get your hands on it.
You have to.
You got to learn by doing.
Otherwise, it's just theory. You're talking about it. You can study and you can regurgitate, but until you do it, and you bring that synthesis bring it all together into the real world where you can see those results. And you know what? You touched on it too. The interaction, the soft skills that students need to be able to not only just get along in the workplace, but to excel in the workplace and in the professional realm. It takes time and it takes practice and some knowledge.
Yeah, they have gained some confidence, be able to express themselves, explain their ideas, and be able to communicate very well about what they're thinking and what their ideas are. That takes practice.
Absolutely. One thing we were talking about before the show, and I thought this was interesting, Mr. Harmonick's back in the booth here with our crew. We're going to play you a quick video. Before we do so, Frankie, I'm going to give a real quick shout out to, let's bring up ME1, Frank. I'm addressing directly into the camera here. I'm going to take a moment and thank our sponsors first off, some folks that enable us here at the Kinetic to be able to continue to do dynamic public affairs programming such as this. I want to thank our partners at DVS Direct. So Frank, if you want to bring up those lower third graphics there with our sponsors' websites and whatnot on there. DVS Direct and Jim Davis, he has been helping us out by providing us with some incredible audio and video gear here to be able to produce these live television shows right here from our humble little studios across from the public library. You wouldn't know it. You know, it's amazing what we're able to do, and we're able to do it in very large part due to our friends at DVS Direct, so we want to thank them for their support making this happen. Tommy Mott at Mottman's Towing, been with us for several years, supporting our programs here, advertising with us, helping us keep the Kinetic open, where we can provide youth media programs for kids that want to learn these technologies and learn the business of digital media. Every other Friday night, the Current Youth Media Club meets here at the Kinetic. You can get hold of us at thekinetic.org and learn about that. And also, I want to give a shout out to my employer, Jeff Tech. Of course, what we're doing here at the Kinetic is separate from Jeff Tech, but in terms of the media broadcasting, I wear two different hats. I wear three different hats. I'm one of the guys that founded the local DuBoisTV Education Channel as well. So a lot of people don't realize that this came out of Jeff Tech. Our IT director and myself were working on this 10 years ago, and we forged this network and get it up and running and made this happen for DuBois and for our region. And the programming is managed by Bob Wakab, our IT director, and me and my kids in the digital media department do a lot of programming for it. It's really a fabulous, fabulous thing, and a lot of people aren't aware of it. So I want to give a shout out to Jeff Tech, because the bottom line is, if you're watching this on DuBois TV right now, you wouldn't be watching it on DuBois TV right now if it wasn't for the fine people at Jeff Tech and the support of that incredible school for the broader region by providing our only education and government channel in the region. Yeah, that's innovation.
Think about the experience that students are getting.
Absolutely. So, all those four groups, DVS Direct, Mottman's Towing, all the crew here at the Kinetic, and Jeff Tech, we really appreciate the support. We wouldn't be able to do this stuff without them, without those levels of partnerships. And of course, we wouldn't be able to make this show happen without giving a shout out to our crew back in the audio booth. Anna Maria Forrest back there doing production today, making sure the boys on the line are doing their job, and the boys on the line happen to be the Lanzoni brothers. That's so fun to say. Hey, Vinny, Frankie. How am I doing with that, Beth? The mom's over here, yeah. Frank is how old is Frank?
15.
Frank is 15. Young man running the TriCaster, running our broadcast. 15 years old. His older brother, how old is? 17. Is he a junior now? He's a junior at DuBois. These kids here, passionate, focused, and look at what they're doing for their community. It's amazing.
They're doing great.
And of course, we have your PR officer, Steve Harmick, back in the booth with us as well. So, real team effort, and thanks to everybody for making this happen. So I want to go ahead and play a quick video. I understand that you folks are the only Penn State location that offers a wildlife technology program, and we have a short video. We can go ahead and cue that up. I believe it's, 2 minutes, they said?
Something like that.
Okay. We go ahead and cue that up. Why don't you set this up for us and give us a little bit of understanding of what this is?
Well, the Wildlife Technology Program can help people train to be able to work in a whole range of fields related to wildlife and forestry, and for management positions, dealing with game management, forestry management, a whole variety.
Right into DCNR.
Yeah, very scientific-based programming.
Really?
And where are we? Right here in the wilds of Kentucky, wilds of Pennsylvania. You don't have to be. I've only been away from Kentucky for about 5 weeks.
I was going to say, it hasn't been that
long. So that sort of just fell out of my mouth. But interestingly enough, the neighborhood is not that much different. The wildlife area and
the rolling hills. It's very similar.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And what a great place for a program like that. And of course, our population is very connected to the wildlife and the outdoors here, conservationist and caring really about the outdoors and about our natural surroundings. And so it's a perfect program for us.
That's great. Boys, you got that queued up back there? Yes? Okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go ahead and roll that, and you can just pop out the door here and let me know when it's done.
So the wildlife technology program is really focused on being hands-on.
Collecting data on animals, going out, modifying habitats for different species, working with them.
A lot of our classes have labs, and we spend a lot of time outside.
You get out of the car and walk into the woods, and you're just sitting around there, and you see like a hawk fly over and some ravens and that, and you're watching something that most people don't know is going on.
I'm caught in the net.
It's nice to know that you're going out there and you're doing research and making studies that are going to make a difference for like the big picture.
And what we're really looking for is to train students to be able to go out into the field and really do these things.
I love everything about this program, to be honest with you. It's the teachers, the professors are amazing. They'll do pretty much anything to help you out.
You get to form a relationship with your professors. Instead of sitting in a big classroom, you actually get to go out there and do it.
You see how these are dark?
The wildlife technology program at Penn State DuBois is the only 2-year wildlife program in the area. So our students get to go right into their wildlife and forestry classes when they get here.
So the northern hemisphere is what we're talking about.
So we have multiple people who send us a message every year when they're looking for technicians because they want to pick them right from this program. They know how well trained our students are, and so they say, hey, I need 2 technicians for this. Can you recommend 2 people? So they don't even have to go through looking through applications, they just take them right from our program.
As long as you love being outdoors and learning about animals and plants or even just forestry, you can come into this and you're going to have a ton of fun and learn so much.
Land on the roof.
Wildlife technology at Penn State, the only Penn State location that offers this. I get the connection to the wilds of PA. That's wonderful, and you're right, and that's natural. But I'm kind of surprised. I mean, Pennsylvania there's a lot of woods out there. Penn State's a big college, a lot of locations. I'm surprised that this will be the only location that offers that.
It is the only location for that particular program. Mount Alto has a forestry program, but we're the only ones that have this wildlife technology program.
One last thing we wanted to touch on, and now we know, going off to college, huge commitment, not only in terms of your life, the time that it's going to take, but the dedication that's going to be involved. But let's face it, it costs money, and it can be a daunting task to get that paid for. But folks at Penn State, there's opportunities there for help and assistance. So tell us a little bit about what does it take to get rolling with the college, and what kind of financial support is available through the school.
Well, the first thing I think I would like to start with is the fact that, going to Penn State, you have not only the programs we offer on our campus, but 160-degree programs. And so we have students that come in and do 2 years with us or go on to University Park. We have other students that stay here and complete their programs. But it's, as I said, it's one Penn State. And Penn State education is not an inexpensive education. And so we have had the great pleasure at this institution, and particularly I'd like to mention here on our DuBois campus, since 1935 this campus started, and the DuBois Educational Foundation and a whole host of donors, whether they be alumni or other people who are passionate about this community and passionate about having higher education in this community, have donated enormous amount of resources for our programs and to support scholarship for students. As a matter of fact, just this last week we had our scholarship luncheon, where we brought donors and our scholarship recipients together for a luncheon, and they got to sit with each other and meet each other for the recipient of their scholarship.
Wow.
And I want to tell you, it's one of the most meaningful experiences that you can have.
And these are some significant numbers we're talking. You want to throw that out there?
It's like $470,000 or something like that.
Wow.
And scholarships that were dispersed
in our local community.
In our local community, and I think for about around 280 recipients. So
that's fantastic.
Those are dollars that make a difference whether people are going to be able to stay and go to school or not.
Sure.
And it's beautiful. Our donors get the great sense of they get to look in the eye the students that they're helping. It's very meaningful to them. Our students get to look the people that are given the money in the eye and understand. And what we all begin to share at these kind of functions is that all of us somehow have had someone help us. Most of us have not done it completely on our own.
Sure.
Someone has stood beside us, and the fact that we have such faithful donors willing to help our students is a tremendous testament to this community and this campus.
Well, before we go, why don't we touch on the community a little bit? You've uprooted your life. You had your career, you had your family, you had your life in Kentucky, uprooted, moved to central Pennsylvania not even 2 months ago. Tell us your thoughts on where you live.
Well, I tell you what, I'm all in. I found a house. I bought a house. I've moved in. This is my new home. And DuBois reminds me an awful lot of the town that I grew up in.
Which was?
Which was in Salem, Ohio. Salem, Ohio is the northernmost community in Columbiana County, Ohio, just south of Mahoning County, where Youngstown is.
Okay.
And it's actually the county that's the northernmost county of Appalachia in Ohio. So you get a sense of that very similar kind of community. It seems like home. And one of the things I really like about DuBois is that people are genuine. Mm-hmm. They're straightforward. They're hardworking. And there are people that are going to have the grit to be able to make it through life and the challenges that life presents for them. People care about this community. I'm really impressed by some of the things that go on. I'm really fascinated by how important baseball is in this community, and what a centerpiece that is.
Yeah, sports.
I love that
general
walkway that goes down by the waterway, and all that's really nice. And it's just really impressive the devotion and dedication and love people have for this community.
Yeah, I find the same way. It really is. Lovely place to live. It's affordable.